Hey everyone, it's me Anubis Edits, and today I'm going to be making a video on the state of WIS and just honestly giving my pure and authentic thoughts about just what WIS is kind of like in 2025. Before I start this, I just gotta thank Addiction and some other self-help channels, people like Jack Piggott and Manish Rawl, who make similar content to this where they just talk about stuff. Now, the reason why you guys should listen into what I'm saying here is because I've been doing WIS for pretty much 2 years now, and I've gone through quite the development. You know, I've gone through all of the stages really of being a WIS creator, apart from being like 1 million subs and having over 100k subscribers. So I think my perspective is worth listening to. Now, just before we get into the big stuff, this video is gonna have a few hot takes in here, so just be ready and don't be offended, please. I'm not trying to offend anyone. Now, let's start off by saying that I'm going to be saying the pros and cons of WIS, but today, most of the time, I'm probably going to express my dislikes with WIS majority. Alright, so the pros of WIS, in my opinion, are the ever increasing level of skill among editors. The community is pretty passionate about WIS. I know a lot of people who are pretty passionate about WIS in the WIS community. There are quite a good amount of creators that I do respect in the WIS community, and I think those people are really cool. And I have to thank the loyal fans who, whatever channel they support, just being loyal and actually, supporting a creator is something that I think we WIS creators should be grateful for. Now I'm going to mention the cons of WIS. In my opinion, these include a lack of creativity. The community, even though having some good passion, generally I find a lot of the community is pretty toxic. Issues with big creators and how difficult it is to actually have motivation in WIS, and really how easy it is to just tire yourself and burn out. Alright, so we're going to start off with our first pro, which is the increasing number of skill among editors. So honestly, when I was looking at old WIS and now I look at new WIS, it's developed a lot. Old WIS was just basic, I didn't think it was even shapes. It was literally just text, 2 characters, and just putting the character who won the point afterwards. And it was like that for a bit of a while in old WIS. It was very basic. Eventually old WIS came into shakes, and I'd still count that as pretty old WIS. If you've seen my newer videos, like my Inside Out versus Sonic 1, Inside Out in June versus Sonic 1, you will know that that's pretty much what old WIS was like, just shakes and basic text. But now, if you look at new WIS, it's completely different. Especially if you look like people like Conquest, Caramel, Mush, who I'll get into a bit later in the video. Those people have very developed and refined effects, shakes. Even the basic shakes that people use now are so much better and smoother than the shakes that you'd find in old WIS. Old WIS shakes are just maybe go up and down, left, right, and maybe some movement or something like that. At least that was in my experience. It wasn't that crazy. So yeah, I just wanted to pinpoint that out first. Another thing is that WIS is quite a tight-knit community. As you guys in the community might know, it is a pretty tight-knit community. I am surprised that this community is actually really tiny. I only have 20k subscribers, and I'm sounding real ungrateful right now. I really am, but no, a lot of people in WIS, like even like big creators, like the biggest dogs in WIS, like Conquester, do actually know of my existence. Which, if I was in another niche, like something like, say I was doing like Fortnite, I was a Fortnite channel and I had 20k subscribers, no one, like the big dogs like Cypher PK or Ninja or something, would not know of my existence. So it's just quite a tight-knit community. And thanks to this tight-knit community, people can actually develop really quickly due to friends, because generally if you have like quite a tight-knit community and like close friends, you probably share like feedback and like grow together. And also, most of the time I see friends in the WIS community giving presets to other people, which does allow you to advance pretty quickly, even though I do have some issues with it. Now, the last thing for the increasing number of skill among editors is the passion among like people in the WIS that actually allows them to grow pretty quickly. I don't know why I phrased the sentence like that. I'm just kidding. The passion of people in WIS is really big, and that's actually my next point now, so I think I'm going to get started with it. So now we're going to mention the passion of the community in WIS, and I'm going to start with mentioning that the passion of everyone in WIS has not really changed, apart from the people who have been very demotivated. But the passion has led, because the passion is so good, has led to the skill in WIS increasing extremely. Like, seriously, when it comes to other people, it comes to me, I've seen big development just because of having passion. And it's honestly just a very cool thing to see other people in WIS actually having a drive for something, and I respect that a lot. Another thing is, in my personal like experiences, I've seen people who I think are really like driven for WIS at some points, and I just want to mention like some of them just individually. I'm going to mention my friend Ren first. Like, you guys might not know it, but obviously I've added him in Discord, and a lot of the time he's like, he obsesses about it. Like, he goes like very like deep into it, and he has a big passion for it. At least he did at one point, because he doesn't do WIS anymore. But when he did do WIS, he had a very big passion for it, and he was actually going deep into it, and I think it honestly helped him out quite a bit and made him a much better WIS creator. The next person I'd like to mention for actually being pretty driven is Dixon, and he is someone who, in my opinion, is also really driven in WIS, and I've seen it pretty much firsthand. When he wants to try something, he'll definitely go and actually try it, and I can definitely respect that about him. And the last person I wanted to mention is my friend Cypher Broski, and I think he's also pretty driven for WIS when it comes to just like having the mindset of, oh yeah, you know, I think I can do it, I'm gonna keep growing so I can actually achieve something greater. And I think that's a good mindset that if you want to get good at WIS, you should have. Next, I want to talk about just how big my passion for WIS was. And when I used to do WIS, I sometimes do WIS for fun, but back then, like, I had a big passion for it. And I would work like a lot just for OCs especially. If you've seen like my Shawnee OC where I won, I worked really hard for that. I spent like 2 days, I think, on that, and that was with like barely, like no breaks pretty much. And like compared to most other editors who normally just grab the presets and get the shakes immediately. Like, it's not the same for me and DaVinci, so it was quite a while doing all that. At the start of WIS even, like, my passion also was really big. I really just like making new stuff, because at the start, I kind of had like the almost enthusiasm of like a child who's like new into the world. Like they find everything they look at exciting. Like even if a little kid like sees like the most boring like microphone in the world, they'll probably still kiss it or something because they find it interesting. Now let's go into my next point here for the pros is creators that I respect. So I've already mentioned him here, but I'm gonna mention Ren, just for his drive, because I honestly think like he's a pretty impressive drive, and it's also led him through like multiple times where he's been feeling pretty low about WIS, which I'll probably go into later. And also his persistence. He has persisted quite a lot in WIS. He has mentioned multiple times to me that he actually has wanted to quit, but he has kept his mind going and he has kept going with it. Except he has quit now. But for, you know, keeping your head up for so long and not quitting so many times, because he said it to me like 10 times, I think. Like, I'm not joking, he literally just said it to me about 10 times, but he's kept on going. So I can respect that. The next person I'd like to mention is Adixum. For this is his long form videos now, which actually inspired this, and it's about his authenticity when it comes to just WIS, like especially his ability to just speak his mind. Normally he just gets a camera and just like sits down and just talks about like some important topics, which I honestly think is actually a really good thing to do, and just a good way to connect with the people, with the community, because honestly a big thing about WIS is just making sure you actually be like loyal with your community. The next person I want to mention is Shawnee, and this is for putting his personality and his own entertainment like touch into his content. If you've seen his content, it's a lot different to what you see from other creators. And I think he, like, especially the use of voice lines, he was the first one to do it. And it really showed, like, his just personality and his own entertainment, like, X factor that no one else really had at that time. And honestly, I really just respect him for going above and beyond and just adding his own kind of personality, his own touch to it, really. The last person I'd like to mention is, some of you guys might disagree, Cypher Silver, and I'm saying this because he is generally quite a nice person outside of WIS. This is not in WIS, this is outside of WIS in Discord, and I respect him most because when, I'll mention it probably later, Adixum had a bit of an incident in July, and he gave like a bunch of photos to Cypher, and Cypher actually acted upon that, and he managed to rally a bunch of people to Dixum's side to pretty much save him, and I can respect him for that. So yeah, good job. Now the last thing for the pros, which I'm going to mention here, loyal fans. So I am always really grateful for how loyal some of my fans are. Of course, I don't have the most loyal fans of all time. Like in WIS, there are a lot of people who have really loyal fans. Adixum, I'm gonna bring him up again. He almost takes up half of the video. He has very loyal fans. I remember like an example of how loyal they are is I made a video of me versus him, and I think I did beat him before. Like, I genuinely do think I was a bit better than him, but not like as big as I said. I was being a bit toxic towards him, and pretty much like a lot of his fans like actually just came into the video. Some maybe even came into DMs, and they actually just like were like, bro, Dixon beats you, bro. He's the GOAT. Like, I mean, it does kind of sound like Glaze, but like the fact that he has people who are actually kind of like almost cult-like loyal is something to be, you know, thankful about, because they were willing to protect him, and people who are willing to take bullets for other people should be acknowledged. And lastly, when it comes to loyal fans, I just want to say just again how thankful I am for actually having people who watch my content. I have never had a channel as big as this. I've had few channels before, but I've never really had people who actually stick around for some of it. And I'm surprised that I actually have people who do, because I've never had this before. Alright, so now wrapping up with the pros, we're going to make our way with the cons now. So starting off with lack of creativity. So I just want to mention like how much ability people have in this stage. It's kind of like where CGI is currently in movies, where it's really impressive, but people are just like, their creativity is gone. Like, they have all these opportunities, but the creativity is just not there. And that is honestly what I think of WIS at the moment. There's just not really creativity at the moment. And I'm going to get into it a bit deeper in a moment. Now I want to mention about like pretty much how creative I was back in the old days of WIS. In the old days of WIS, I was really trying my hardest to just distinguish myself and actually kind of become just me. Like, have no one else that really is like me and just be me. You can see it in some of my old effects. I was just trying. I didn't know what I was doing. I just threw stuff at the wall and just hoped it'd stick. So, yeah, I mean, I hope it worked. Another thing is how, and this is probably why there's so much lack of creativity, is WIS edits are kind of now becoming the same sort of, and some people might get mad at me for saying this, they're becoming the same sort of a light motion style shakes and effects style edits, with people not really like expressing actually creative styles as much anymore. The thing is, if I see like a lot of the videos of WIS pretty much, I go into like pretty much anyone's channel now. Like, it can be ranging from the big creators to the tiny creators, really, like anyone. And you'll see that they all follow pretty much the same type of edit. Like, they all have almost the same shakes, same effects, and text as well. And it just upsets me because no one really is expressing themselves as much as they used to in the old days of WIS, which I just find a bit upsetting. And yeah, I think honestly it's become a trend now to just follow this one type of like style, but yeah, I think it's just stripping people of their creativity at the moment. And the last thing for how the lack of creativity, you guys probably have seen this coming because you guys have known about this obviously, is presets. Especially presets that big YouTubers have. These strip people of their creativity hugely, and effects and shakes and text all look the same because of this. If you've seen people like, I don't want to really name drop, but I will for this case, Conquester, you guys obviously know he has tons of presets. If you look around at like the people who you think are good, you see that they might not actually be good, they just steal his stuff. Like, I had a friend, I'm not gonna drop his name or anything, but he started a light motion, and like, he started a light motion, he used to be on the same software that I used, and after like about maybe a month, he was pretty much like at Conquest level already. And the thing is, all his shakes, all his like text, all his stuff literally look exactly the same. It's ridiculous. And it's just really, really bad for the community, I think, at the moment, because people aren't expressing themselves and their softwares, they're expressing other people's softwares at the moment. Now, let's go in depth with the next point here is the toxic community. Now, I'm gonna quickly just say, hopefully you watching this, you are not a toxic person in this, okay? This is hopefully not targeted at you. If you do follow this stuff, you can improve it though. So just know that if you have some bad habits that you might want to change, you can always improve it. I'm not mad at you if you want to improve it, because that's good. Now, I think I want to start off by mentioning how people treat me in the WIS community. Like, I'm not a big, huge creator, but I'd say I'm decently big in the space of WIS at the moment. And honestly, a lot of people just treat me really, really badly at the moment. Especially scalers. Bro, these people who come into your comment section, I'll give you an example, right? I made a video a while ago, which was Godzilla versus Gojo, and that video, I didn't know the scaling at all, because I don't even know if Godzilla's actually that strong. I just thought it was just a giant lizard who's just strong, decently strong, and has a blast. So it's oh yeah, I think Gojo would win. His hollow purple would just tear right through him. And I just had that, and everyone and their mother got mad at that video and started trying to scale Godzilla and Gojo and be oh yeah, Gojo's so trash, bro, you're a glazer, and Godzilla destroys. And that just annoys me. That just actually really annoys me, because it's just annoying to hear people who kind of talk like that. It's just annoying, in my opinion. And the next thing when it comes to scalers, and the last thing when it comes to scalers I'm going to talk about for today, is probably how you know me. I used to make Across the Spider-Man edits, Across the Spider-Verse edits back in the day, and they were pretty popular. But one character I used to make a lot of edits about was the Spot, and you might see where this is going. But a lot of people used to say I absolutely ride the Spot crazy, to absolute peak glazing. And to be honest, none of you guys will know, but I actually did think that was legit. I actually didn't think that I was riding him. I actually just thought that he was just strong, and I was oh yeah, this is an opinion I don't see that much of, and I think it makes sense to me. So I was oh yeah, I might as well share it. I wasn't even intending to rage bait. A lot of those people probably hate me because they think I was actually just rage baiting them. I'm not rage baiting them. But when I posted those videos, oh my god, the whole comments, there were barely any people who said good edit, and there were barely any people who said bad edit. There was just everyone talking about fax cap. Bro, relax. Most of the time, you're probably on WIS videos just to actually have fun watching WIS. Why do you care so much about the scaling? Come on, just relax. And I find that a big issue with the scaling is just people treating characters and debates they actually really matter. It's fictional. It doesn't actually matter, guys. Anyway, the next point I want to talk about is honestly just how ignored I don't know, I feel in kind of the WIS community at the moment. And I've been in a few WIS servers recently because I wanted to see do people actually treat me like an actual person in these WIS servers. And I went into all the servers, tried to get to talk to people, and I think there was only one person who actually talked to me and actually had a chat with me for a while, and that was it. And I've tried multiple times. I'm just getting ignored at the moment, and people really in these servers most of the time are just talking to their friends, and they ignore the people who actually don't have friends in the server yet and just want to make some. The next thing for the toxic community, and probably a big one, is Dixon. I'm gonna bring him up again. His haters, a few, like, I don't know how long ago it was quite a while ago, but he had haters who were really persistent about hating him, and they even made like a account called Daddy Dixon to literally clown on him, and they even made like a whole hate server and a hate group chat. And honestly, if you're willing to do all of that, how desperate are you for attention? Like, seriously, it is actually kind of sad that people do stuff like that. But it's not exclusive to WIS. I'm just saying, yeah, I just generally think that it's quite common for hate to occur in WIS, especially like when I used to make spot edits. A lot of people actually had a lot of hate against me. The last thing I want to mention for the toxic community is Dixon. I was talking to Dixon before this, by the way, and he brought up like a guy. Maybe I'll put some screenshots up, and yeah, he found a guy that was really down bad for Caramel, and it was really weird. Like, this guy with some weird like anime cat profile picture or something was talking about like wanting to smash Caramel and stuff, which is so weird. By the way, Caramel is a girl, by the way. And I just thought that was insanely weird. And Dixon also mentioned to me how Conquester also like acts a bit weird to her too. Like, he sent like roses to Caramel before and stuff, and you know, Dixon showed that to me, and I was like, oh yeah, damn. It might be a joke though, so I'm not gonna count that as that bad of a thing. Now the next issue, the next con, really, is my issue with the big creators of WIS. Now, I'm gonna start off by just saying it's absolutely no secret that big creators like Conquester, Caramel, Cypher Silver control the landscape of the niche of WIS. Like, for example, Cypher Silver pretty much controls the whole Sonic WIS industry. That sounds like some weird business thing, but yeah, I mean, it kind of does. And Conquest and Caramel pretty much control the whole anime edit WIS industry, pretty much at this point. And speaking of Caramel and Conquester, Dixon, I asked him if I could share this theory, and he said yes. He mentioned how his theory was how Conquester, Mush, and Caramel could actually be in a group chat, like their own group chat, just them, where they actually share each other's like editing assets, and that was what Dixon's like kind of theory was. So these editing assets, of course, when I'm saying editing assets, I mean like just presets, like tons of presets that look exactly the same. And at first I was like, oh damn, that sounds a little bit delusional. But then he showed me, and it's crazy how they use the exact same, literally the exact same effects, and just like pretty much almost the exact same style, pretty much, with the same shakes, pretty similar text. It's getting a bit ridiculous at the moment, and I thought that was a pretty interesting theory, so hope you guys like the theory from Dixon. The next thing about big creators is how some WIS creators are getting a bit greedy now, especially like Conquester, who's getting ridiculous amount of money from his fans and super thanks, and how he keeps making super thanks videos and promoting them so that he actually keeps getting money, because when he keeps like thanking the people who like giving him money, people are gonna be like, oh, I want to get approval from Conquester, like their own sense of like approval, pretty much. Like, they're just looking for approval from Conquester, pretty much, and they just want to see the video done from Conquester, and the more he promotes it, the more people are gonna give him money, and it's a bit of an issue with WIS at the moment. Next, which I think is actually really important, is how big the egos are of these big creators, and I'm gonna quickly just give you an example of myself. So, back in the day, pretty much, like, I have never been as, like, probably about a year ago, I reckon. I've never been as big as I was, like, on YouTube ever. So I honestly just kind of was accidentally, like, put into the mentality that, like, I'm beyond just some of the people, and because you don't see the fans, like, their faces, you only see numbers when you're looking at analytics. So sometimes it's very easy to see all these numbers and be like, oh yeah, I'm so cool, bro, and I'm beyond it all. And it got to me. It really did. And I started thinking I was above all the other WIS creators. And I just started feeling above the whole world, pretty much. And I developed a massive ego. And that's not good. That's not good, really. Because most of the time, especially with my ego, I'd act a bit toxic to some people. A case of this is when it was me versus a Dixim, I was really, like, mean, like, toxic towards him in, like, my pinned comment. And honestly, I didn't even need to do that. I was just, like, trying to humiliate him, which I really am sorry for, if you ever got offended with that. Yeah, and Dixim actually brought up another creator. If you're watching this video, I'm sorry, bro. But he brought up Middle Track, who pretty much, like, he sent me some comments of him just being, like, pretty mean to some of the people who were actually commenting, who were just actually trying to share an opinion. And Dixon kind of mentioned, like, how he just can't accept being wrong, and honestly, I think that's that links into kind of what I'm saying about egos at the moment. Now, the last part is presets, and how the influence of big creators as well is removing creativity from their fans. Now, presets, of course, are taking away people's creativity. I'm not going to go into that, I already did. But influence is massive. When you have creators like Conquestor who have big influence, a lot of people will see this person, obviously. And when they see this person, and because Conquestor's edits are, like, actually good, people start actually trying to be like him. And the thing is, when you have such big influence and you, like, send out presets and your style is very famous, a lot of people are losing their creativity because they're all trying to become like that person. And that's another reason why creativity in WIS is just gone at the moment. Now let's go into the final con and the last point of this video, really. Now, I'm gonna just, this one is gonna be a bit deep. It's motivation and burnout in WIS. I want to first start with mentioning that it's really no secret that a lot of a lot of WIS creators are leaving WIS or taking huge breaks, and most of the time probably finding it pretty hard to keep up, me, myself included. I want to start by talking about someone who I've known, Ren. I mentioned him before twice, and I just want to mention, like, how kind of he felt about WIS pretty much before quitting, and just some issues with that. So he was a creator who I found about at the start of February 2024, I believe, and we kind of had, like, a nice friendship between me and him, like, in WIS and stuff, and on Discord. And throughout that, he grew his channel, he started growing, but at one point in his, like, WIS career sounds a bit funny to say, but yeah, in his career, he pretty much, like, started, sounds a bit mean, but he did start kind of falling off in terms of just views and attention, and it really took a toll on him. And this is not just WIS, this is just YouTube in general, and it's really demotivating when you don't have WIS views, not WIS, jeez. And this caused his lack of fun and interest with WIS, and as this continued to go, he ended up starting to lose his passion, and eventually he quit. Now I just want to mention how I've been feeling about WIS at the moment, including just losing motivation due to just quite a toxic community, losing motivation due to just constantly needing to keep up, and this just creates a bunch of burnout because, you know, not being able to like keep up as well is just the feeling of like having people advancing way faster than you and you can't do anything about it. It's just not good. Like, that's something that just WIS can do to you. And the last thing that I want to mention about something that I've felt myself is the constant feeling of not being good enough because you compare yourself too much. And yeah, this is just something that's pretty general, but not feeling good enough because you look at other people is just generally something that is pretty bad. I have experienced it quite a lot in WIS, and that's because generally we WIS creators generally like to look at other WIS creators as well for ideas and stuff, but when we look at good creators, we start to feel like, oh, we're not good enough, and we start to get imposter syndrome, which is pretty much what it is. Now, the last part is I'm going to mention just 2 creators who have kind of quit Discord and pretty much disassociated from WIS sometimes. One of them is Cypher Silver. I've seen that he's quit Discord quite a few times, and I don't know if he's quit right now, but I think he is. But honestly, I understand why. Discord, even his server is kind of toxic, and it's just good to kind of take a break and disassociate from WIS. Dixon is the last person that I'm going to mention here, and he's quit WIS. He's quit Discord, and he just sometimes takes breaks for quite a while, and honestly I dig that because I've taken breaks for a while, and I think taking a break can do good for you, and it can help you take a break from the reasons I just mentioned. So now that's pretty much all I wanted to kind of cover in this video. If you want to see a change in WIS, guys, just know that you probably need to change yourself, or you need to start pushing others to change so that we can achieve a better generation of WIS. Thank you guys for making it this far, guys. If you enjoyed the long form videos, I have made a new long form gaming channel, and I'll reveal it soon when it's ready if you guys are interested. Thank you so much for watching this video. Have a good one.